Hello everyone, I am Namita Amrutkar, working as Assistant Professor of Abida Inamdar Senior College in Computer Science Department. Today we are going to learn about the topic cybersecurity threats and its vulnerabilities. In this topic, we have to cover overview of security threats, weak, strong password and password cracking, malicious code, programming bug, cybercrime and cyber terrorism. Cybersecurity professionals continually defend computer system against different type of cyber threats. Cyber attacks hit business and private system every day, and the variety of attack has increased quickly. According to former Cisco CEO John Chambers, there are two types of companies, those that have been hacked and those who don't yet know they have been hacked. The motive for cyber attacks are many. One is money. Cyber attackers may take a system offline and demand payment to restore its functionality. Ransomware, an attack that requires payment to restore service, is now more sophisticated than ever. Corporations are vulnerable to cyber attack, but individuals are targeted too, often because they store personal information on their mobile phone and use insecure public network. Tracking, evolving and increasing cyber attack is a key better to cybersecurity. A cybersecurity threats refer to any possible malicious attack that seek an unlawful access data, disturb digital operation or damage information. Cyber threats can originate from various actors include corporate spies, hackers, terrorist groups, hostile nation state, criminal organization, lone hackers and discreet employee. In recent years, numerous high-profile cyber attacks have resulted in sensitive data being exposed. For example, in 2017, Equifax breach compromised the personal data of roughly 143 million consumers, including its birth date, address, and social security numbers. In 2018, Merited International disclosed that hacker accessed its server and stole the data of roughly 500 million customers. In both instances, the cybersecurity threat was enabled by the organization failure to implement, test and retest technical safeguards such as encryption, authentication and firewall. Cyber attacker can use an individual or company's sensitive data to steal information or gain access to their financial account among their potentially damaging action, which is why cybersecurity professionals are essential for keeping private data protected. There are different type of cybersecurity threats: malware, emotet, denial of service, man in the middle, phishing, SQL injection, password attack. Now we learn one by one these different type of cybersecurity threats. First one is a malware. Malware is a malicious software such as spyware, ransomware, viruses and worms. Malware is activated when a user click on malicious link or attachment, which lead to installing dangerous software. Malware once activated, it can be block access to key network components, install additional harmful software, convertly obtain information by transmitting data from the hard drive, disturb individual parts, making the system inoperable. The second one is Emotet. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency describe Emotet is an advanced modular banking Trojan that primarily function as a downloader or a dropper of other banking Trojans. Emotet continue to be among the most costly and destructive malware. The third one is denial of service. It is an attack meant to shut down a machine or network, making it inaccessible to its intended user. Denial of service attack accomplish this by flooding the target with traffic or sending it information that trigger a crash. In both instances, the denial of service attack deprives legitimate user, employee, member or account of the service or resource they expected. Victims of denial of service attack often target web server of high profile organizations such as banking, commerce and media companies or government and the trade organization. Though denial of service attack do not typically result in the theft or loss of significant information or the assets, they can cause the victim a great deal of time and money to handle. The fourth one is man in the middle. A man in the middle attack is a type of eavesdropping attack where attacker interrupt an existing conversation or data transfer. After inserting themselves in the middle of the transfer, the attacker pretend to be both legitimate participant. This enables the attacker or intercept information and data from either party while also sending malicious link or other information to both legitimate participant in a way that might not be detected until it's too late. And you can think that this type of attack is similar to the game of telephone, where one person words carried out along from participant to participant until it has changed by the time it reaches the final person. In a man in middle attack, the middle participant manipulate the conversation unknown to either of the two legitimate participant, acting to retrieve confidential information and otherwise cause damage. And the fifth one is a phishing. Phishing attack use fake communication such as an email to trick the receiver into opening it and carrying out the instruction inside, such as providing credit card number. The goal is to steal sensitive data like credit card and login information, or to install malware on the victim's machine. It is a type of social engineering attack often used to steal user data including login credential and credit card number. It occurs when an attacker, masquerading as trusted entity, dupes a victim into opening an email, instant message or text message. The recipient in this then trick the clicking malicious link, which can lead of the installation of malware. And the sixth one is a SQL injection attack. Yes, it is called as a structure query language injection attack. A structure query language injection is a type of cyber attack that results from inserting a malicious code into a server that uses SQL. When infected, the server release information. SQL injection attack allow attacker to spoof identity, tamper with existing data, cause reputation issues such as voiding transaction or changing balances, allow the complete disclosure of all data on the system, destroy the data or make it otherwise unavailable, and become a administrator of the database server. The seventh one is a password attack. With the right password, a cyber attacker has access to a wealth of information. Social engineering is a type of password attack that data inside define a strategy cyber attack use that relies heavily on human interaction and often involve tricking people into breaking standard security practices. Other types of attack also, password attack include accessing a password database or outright guessing. These are the different types of cyber security threats which will be occur when you are not securely your information. Now we learn what is meant by weak password and what is meant by strong password. A weak password consists of dictionary words, places or names frontwards or backwards in any languages. Name of a spouse, friend, children, pets, anything. Whatever you write down, this is the weak password. If you write in your name, then it is a weak password. Using the first letter capitalized or with a digit in the beginning. Suppose your name is Namita and you write down N capital Namita and write down 1 2 3. Then this is the weak password. Okay. Then suppose some people write down the weak password as your birth date, license number, security number or Aadhaar card number. Then these are the weak password. Then what is my strong password? A strong password consists of random letters and number set out in a way that no one can run a program using your personal information to figure it out. Right? Then it is called as a strong password. If you write down any random number or if you write down your phone number randomly, then this is the strong password. Password cracker can crack password in a matter of day or hour depending on how weak or strong the password is. To make a password stronger and more difficult to uncover a plain text, a password should adhere to the following rules. Be at least 12 characters long. The shorter a password is, the easier and faster it will be cracked. Second one, combine letter and variety of character using a number of special characters such as dot, comma, increase the number of possible combination. Avoid reusing a password. If a password is cracked, then a person with a malicious intent could use that same password to easily access other password, protect account the victim owns. Pay attention to password strength indicator. Some password protector system include a password strength meter, which is scale that tells the user when they have created a strong password. Avoid easy to guess phrases and common password. A weak password can be name, a pet's name or birth date or something personally identifiable. Short and easy predictable patterns like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 password which will all these are the easy password and the weak password. Use encryption when you write down the password. Take advantage of password creation tools manager. Some smartphone will automatically create long, hard to guess password. For example, Apple iPhone will create a strong website password for user. And iPhone store the password in its password manager. iCloud cache in and automatically fill the password into the correct field so the user does not have to remember the complicated password. Password cracking means recovering a password from a computer or from data that a computer transmits. This does not have to be sophisticated method. A brute force attack where all possible combinations are checked is also password cracking. If the password is stored as a plain text, hacking the database gives the attacker all account information. Now we learn what is mean by malicious code. A malicious code usually called a malware. It is a type of code intentionally developed to harm or exploit a computing system. Malicious code is a term used to describe any code in any part of software system or script that is intended to cause undesired effect, security breaches or damage to a system. The international aspect of the malware definition is vital. By contrast, if a code causes unintentional damage because of some programming deficiency, it is called as a software bug. It is not a malware. A malware is a catch-all terms for referring to any nefarious computer program designed to wreak destruction to your data, devices and infrastructure. Malicious software comes in various shape and size and everyone has its own infection method. Broadly, a malicious or a malware can be categorized into two groups. First one is how the malware spread and second is what it does after infecting the target system. Now let's see the one in every group. Now we learn how the malware spread. This category represents how the malware spread from one system to the other. Let's talk about its main type. First one is a worm. A worm is a standalone piece of harmful code that replicates itself and spread, causing havoc along the way. What makes worm quite devastating is their ability to move from computer to computer without requiring end user action. Beginning from a single infected system, a worm can view its path through the network, connecting to each successive device and quickly infecting the entire network. The second one is a viruses. A virus is a malicious piece of code that binds itself within the code of another legitimate program. Then it spread when an unsuspecting end user or automated process execute the program. Since they can modify the host files, viruses can cause harm to the application core functionality, lock user out of their machine or corrupt sensitive file. The main difference between viruses and worm is that the latter one can self-replicate while the former depends on a user sharing the infected software. The third one is a Trojan horses. A Trojan horses is a type of malicious software that deceives user of its real intent. It usually represents itself as a trusted software while it actually works discreetly to breach computer system security. Now let's see the second category, what it does after infecting the target system. This category represents what malicious software does after invading the susceptible system. Let's talk about its main type. First one is a spyware. Spyware is a type of malicious software that spies on user activity while using a computing device. It is secretly collects sensitive information without the user knowledge and relay it to a third party. For example, criminal can use a special type of spyware called a keylogger to record keystroke of a victim and steal their password. The second one is a ransomware. Ransomware is a design to infiltrate a user machine and threaten to publish the victim's sensitive information or persistently disable its access unless a ransom payment is made. Of late, there have been several high-profile ransomware attacks with expensive results. For example, in 2017, the VannyCrams ransomware attack ripped through more than 200,000 computers worldwide, held files hostages. It estimated that it caused about $4 billion in damages. The third one is rootkits. A rootkit is a type of harmful software that invades a target system and lets attacker gain unauthorized privileged access. The victim may not notice its presence. A rootkit usually consists of different malicious tools ranging from programs that gives criminal remote access to computing devices to modules that allow them to subvert or hijack existing security software. And the fourth one is a adware. Adware is a malware that displays unwanted advertisement on user machine, usually within a web browser. Adware may bombard user device with lots of pop-up ads, make changes to the browser setting, and compel them to install harmful software. Now we learn how to detect malware. There is a wide range of malware detection tool already available, and with the help of this tool you can recognize that your system have a malware or not. There are also some common signs which will tell you that your system has been compromised. First one is a performance problem. If your system crashes frequently and cannot perform basic operation, then you can say that your system has a malware. Second is unexplained behavior. If you think that you're taking place without initiating them, okay, then you may already a malware victim. For example, your file is mysteriously disappear or changes is happening within a file, okay, and also suspicious activities involved in your system. If you notice that your hard disk is showing intense activity without any currently running program, your hard drive is full of suspicious file, or internet traffic is increasing suspiciously and your PC is slowed down, then you can say that your malware is in your system. After realizing that harmful code is in your system, the next step is to remove them. Getting rid of malicious software is a tricky business, and the technique you choose will depend on the type that invaded your computing environment. Here are some ways of removing malware. If your computer has a virus, you can perform a complete scan with a good antivirus solution to remove it from your system. If you are using vulnerable version of a software, you can uninstall it and use the latest version with security related updates. If your hard drive has some suspicious file, delete them from your computer. You can also clear the cache on your Brave browser. You can also contact an expert to remove the malware manually. Prevention is better than cure. So goes the popular saying in the malware world. The adage is true. Preventing infection is better than trying to get rid of it from your system. Here are some techniques now we learn you can use to safeguard against the malicious code. First one is use antivirus and anti-malware tool. With reliable antivirus program, you can identify and remove harmful code from your system easily and fastly. Additionally, based on the setup of your IT infrastructure, you can consider implementing the following malware protection tool. A firewall to shield malicious traffic from entering your system. A intrusion detection system to monitor network activity and detect existing malicious code. An intrusion prevention system to inspect incoming traffic and block your suspicious activity. This intrusion detection system and intrusion prevention system we have to learn in a chapter 5. Okay. The second way is keep software updated. Most software vendors issue patches frequently to seal any vulnerability that show up on their product. You should undertake routine maintenance to ensure all your operating system, plugins and other software tools are up to date. Third one is practice secure browsing. Maintaining good internet hygiene can prevent you from a malware attack. For example, you should avoid malicious or compromised website. If you notice anything abnormal about a site such as insecure connection, misleading URL or unauthentic feature, avoid downloading any material from it or providing your sensitive information. It also important to use strong password for accessing online account. Your password should be difficult to guess, change frequently and unique. You should also use an account with minimal permission. In case the account is compromised, the limited permission ensure the malicious code does not spread to the administrative account and cause root level changes to your system. Now we learn a programming bug. A software bug is a failure or flaw in a program that produces undesired or incorrect result. It is an error that prevents the application from functioning as it should. There are many reasons for software bug. The most common reason is human mistake in a software design and coding. Bugs come in a many forms. Some of the most common forms are syntax bug. These refer to occurrence where a user incorrectly places character within a command, thus preventing proper command execution. A runtime bug. This causes error while the program is running. It can be a logic error where the program produces incorrect output. Logic bugs. This causes error in a script function. An example could be when a command result in a different function arriving at the wrong output. Next one is arithmetic bugs. These occur due to an integer overflow or underflow and cause an arithmetic operation to result in a numeric value beyond the given range. Next one is interfacing bug. These can happen when incompatible application programming interface or protocol implementation, hardware handling or any system is connected to your computer. Now let's learn a new topic, cybercrime and cyberterrorism. Cybercrime and cyberterrorism are among the biggest threats facing society and are key priorities for government at all levels. Cybercrime is a not old sort of crime to the world. It is defined as any criminal activity which takes place on or over the medium of computer or internet or other technology recognized by the Information Technology Act. Cybercrime is the most prevalent crime playing a devastating role in modern India. Not only the criminals are causing enormous losses to the society and the government, but are also able to conceive their identity to great extent. There are number of illegal activity which are committed over the internet by technically skilled criminals. Taking a wider interpretation, we can say that a cybercrime includes any illegal activity where computer or internet is either a tool or target or both. Most but not all cybercrime is committed by cybercriminal or hacker who want to make money. Cybercrime is carried out by individual or organization. Rarely cybercrimes aims to damage computer for reason other than profit. This could be a political or personal. Thank you.